Hey there. I'm live. Okay. Hi, everyone. Super quick reflection on some coaching topics that have come up recently around consistency and the policies around consistency and having a consistent caseload. And I just had a few thoughts I wanted to share with everybody. When it comes to, your caseload, one of the struggles that clinicians often talk about in my work with them is having consistent appointments, consistent schedules, and having clients show up consistently. Clients that might cancel and drop off, that kind of ghost, and sort of in like weird ways where the therapist is having to like track them down. And if this is happening more than occasionally or very rarely in your practice, then there are some things you might be able to implement that can help increase consistency in your caseload and increase, decrease turnover. So a few of those things are setting up recurring appointments. So this is surprise. I'm surprised. Maybe it's just because I've been doing this for so long. I'm often surprised by how many clinicians schedule week by week or schedule like only a few sessions in advance. And I think particularly for the majority of your caseload, having them on consistent weekly or bi-weekly sessions where once it may take a few weeks to get there where the spot opens up consistently. But in my case, when I bring somebody new on, I let them know like, oh, we may have to bounce around a couple times. Let's go ahead and schedule out the next few sessions now. So we schedule them out right away. And then once we've had those few sessions, we look ahead and I say, you know what, I can get you locked into this spot right here on my caseload, on my schedule. It's going to be your spot, whether it's weekly or every other week from here on out. And if you ever need to change it or I ever need to change it, then we can have a conversation about that in advance. But I want to get you locked in so that you have a spot saved on my schedule. And so I would say like I have about 80% of my caseload is locked into a recurring appointment. The rest of my caseload are monthlies or as needed folks. And so we schedule month by month. And they're the ones that are probably my most likely to kind of drop off and ghost kind of thing because they're single session by single session. Fortunately, because we have established such consistency in our work prior, they don't tend to do that very often. If they need to change their appointment, they typically talk to me first. If somebody's canceling without talking to me, that's a sign for me that maybe they're looking at possibly terminating and they don't want to actually face it head first. And so I approach that differently. The other thing that I do in my practice, and a lot of EHRs have already integrated, is appointment reminder. So I have a 48-hour cancellation policy. I send a reminder out at 72 hours automatically, at 24 hours, I think. Anyway, they're automated. Point is, my first appointment reminder goes out well before my cancellation window. So people have an opportunity to communicate with me if they need to change something, and they haven't realized it yet. And then I have additional appointment reminders that go out either by email or text, depending on which timing it is. And that typically avoids the I didn't remember, I didn't realize. Then the next one, clear instructions for changes, right? So I'm pretty clear with my clients. If you need to change it, text me. That's the best way to let me know you need to change your appointment. Send me a text. You can also email me, but if it's more urgent or if it's more short notice, feel free to text me. That's a great way. So I make it very clear, like when you need to change an appointment, this is what I want you to do. That helps them know what the steps are. If you have an online scheduling system that you want them to use, let them know. Check there first. That's going to be your best way to reschedule. And if you can't find something that works for you, then reach out to me. So you can also do it that way. I personally like the personal touch. I don't have a lot of people changing their appointments, so the workload associated with that is very low, but it keeps the warm touch and it allows me to be more flexible with my clients. That's one of the ways that I bring flexibility in on a week-to-week basis, is that I have off-the-books availability that I get to decide on each week. And when someone needs to reschedule or change an appointment, I know what I have available. I don't go in and update my online calendars for it. I just let them come to me, and then I get to decide in real time. Because maybe I decided to go to yoga class tomorrow morning and I didn't change my schedule. I don't want somebody booking in over that. right? So I get to decide. That's how I do my dynamic balance, where I'm still holding the boundaries of my schedule, but I'm also giving myself flexibility both on my end and for my client. You also have policy options here, right? So from the get-go, be really clear about what your policies are about consistency. Some clinicians go as far as having a consistency policy rather than a cancellation policy, where you pay for your spot no matter what, whether you attend or not. And so if you can reschedule that appointment, then you get to use it, but you can use that hour however you want, whether you come or not. And so it's just a matter of figuring out what's right for your practice, right? I haven't needed to implement that level of a consistency policy. I have my cancellation policy and it's serving me well. Am I leaving some money on the table? Probably, but I'm also balancing client relationship with that based on the clientele that I serve. When you serve first responder populations, sometimes that stuff is so out of their control that it can actually be a barrier to seeking treatment. And so I have, for my practice, done the assessment of what the cost-benefit analysis is for the different policies that I want to put into place, and created a policy and a system that's both flexible for my needs and my clients' needs, but also consistent enough that I am still earning my better or best numbers. And then boundary holding is the last one, right? In order to have consistency, we need to be consistent. So again, this is something that you can confront as it comes, and you're going to make the best decision you can at any given moment. But holding firm but flexible to your boundaries is going to be, hi McKinsey, is going to be a way that you reinforce the consistency language that you come into therapy with. And again, a lot of this stuff comes into play from the consultation forward. Even on your website, some of this stuff can be integrated into how you talk about consistent therapy and momentum and how it serves the client. And there's different ways to talk about this in a way that really demonstrates how it benefits the client to be consistent, how it holds space for them, how it holds space in your heart for them to exist on your caseload, for them to take up that space in you, in your heart, in your caseload. I had something else I was going to say, and it flew right out of my head because it's the end of the day and I'm tired and I saw a bunch of clients. So I think I'm going to maybe stop there. That said, just, think about, if you're having trouble with consistency, think about what are the different places and pieces. Starts with it came back. Starts with a consultation, right? It starts with talking about how consistency is important in the consultation and how you build that in. And then if that person is not able to meet the policies of your practice with the kind of consistency that you are needing, that is a fit issue, and that is okay, right? It's okay if they don't fit for a lot of reasons. And their ability to show up consistently within the boundaries of your policies for your practice is part of fit. And so there are other practices that may have different policies that are more flexible or less flexible or different, and that might make them a better fit for that practice. So that's also something to consider, is it might be a fit issue, and that's okay. With that said, take a moment to look at your policies, to look at your consistency, to look at what needs to change, what's working for you, what's not working for you. And, you always have the opportunity to make adjustments and changes as you go. So I hope that was helpful, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.